Hello everybody and welcome to another video. It's my first proper video since coming back from Bloodstock. I had intended on doing one sooner, but on Monday it was the 1 year anniversary of my uncle passing away, so I really wasn't in the mood for that. And on Tuesday I had a lot of errands to run, I had a lot of things to do, so I didn't have the time. So first video since coming back from Bloodstock, first proper video anyway. And I'm going to be looking at a band I've not heard before called Terrorbyte, as in a terror, scary terror, byte as in computer byte. Now, some guy by the name of Ian Moon messaged me a little while back in July, I think it was, asking me if I'd have a look at this band, and he seemed very, very enthusiastic about them. He's apparently quite good friends with the band and was curious to hear my thoughts on the band. So he gave me a few suggestions. There's a trilogy of songs which apparently all go together. But whilst I was at Bloodstock, he messaged me saying, they've just released a new track. Would you look at that? So I was like, you know what? Once I get back, I'll have a look at it. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this sort of thing is, and I tried to do a search for information on them, couldn't find anything. So I messaged Ian and said, look, you know the band, could you tell me more about them? And so he did, very generously, send me some information back. And it says the band themselves have a mix of styles. The only thing I found out about them was apparently they had I think it was cyber metal or something like that, or it's been described as industrial by Ian here. It says they have a mix of style. They have a very electronic industrial heavy metal kind of sound. They use a mixture of instruments and computer sounds. They are from Syracuse, New York. They had songs with Frankie Palmieri of Emu and Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. I'm not familiar with them. Their first EP came out in 2015, and they released a few singles in between that led to their second album, Crime Wave. They have a lot of Easter eggs about video games in their music. The singer goes by the name Poltergeist. I didn't want to give me too much personal information about the guy, which is fair enough, I can understand that. What he says in his music, aside from murder, is 100% real. So all of the songs that this guy writes are about like real life events, maybe things that have actually happened to him. So this is something that I've often said. I like it when artists base tracks around real life experiences or real stories, true stories, that sort of things. Things that are happening in the world, that sort of thing. I like it when they do that. He says, what it says in music, aside from murder, is 100% real. The stories he shares and the things he sings about are 100% true, sadly. He has had a very hard life, battles and a lot of things daily, and has overcome all of them. A lot of their songs are deep and angry. A lot of their songs, as deep and angry as they may sound, are very uplifting. Songs like Satellite, Interference and Helios, which is the trilogy of songs I was talking about earlier, are about rising up and building yourself up. Other songs are also about pain, loss, self-identity, and they all describe this man. So, this guy has obviously been through a hell of a lot in his life. The track we're going to be looking at is a track called Ghost Stories, and it is honouring loved ones between him and Nora, another member of the band, who apparently wears a bird mask. All of the people mentioned are real, their pictures are real, and they are genuine loved ones of the band members. The album this is attached to is all a personal letter from the singer telling us his life story. Only one track so far has been released. This is the new track that we're looking at today. Sort of industrial cyber electronica based metal band singing about personal life experiences. And this I've mentioned this with Chad Gray from Mudvayne, and hell yeah, he sings about a lot of his own personal life experiences, and I have a great admiration for people who do that, because these things are quite difficult to sort of talk about, and in general, but to put them out on an open forum like through your music, I mean, it's a good way of sort of relieving the stress and agony that you feel. You know, it's a good way to sort of release any pent up energy that you might feel. It's very, I want to use the word cathartic, but I'm not sure if that's the right word. You know, so there is a certain level of, you know, release in putting these sorts of things into music. So yeah, I'm curious to see what this band is about. Like I said, he's messaged me a few times about this, you know, but we'll forgive him that. He's been very nice and polite about it in the entire way. I have lyrics to the song here. They are from directly underneath the video on YouTube, so they should, in theory, be 100% accurate. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what we've got. So we'll jump into this. So Ghost Stories by Terrorbyte. Let's have a look.
I first saw and I'm still here. I wanted to make sure that I did something that she would feel proud about.
Don't say hi to me, you should hide from me. I'm so damn toxic that you'll probably fucking die on me. Grotesque anatomy, I'm missing half of me. It's more than that, can't do the math, can't count on the hands that abandon me. Everybody goes away, no one ever stays. I forgot another face, my memory stuck on replay. Everyone I ever loved, all that I touch, everything turns into dust. All my angels in the ground, ain't got none left above. Damn, precious God, nothing left. Say we're strong, burned to death, mystical. Chelsea's dead, killers up with heroin. 2 a.m. out of breath, yours is dead, my mom is dead. Find a dead at Parkinson, loaded guns next to my bed. You think that this just music? I'm really going through it. All that shit you talk about, well bitch, you know I really do it. I got the scars to prove it. These guns I really shoot them. Keep on being stupid and you lose that shit you used to chew with. Everybody entertained by my pain, kicking that dirt on my name. Straight from the mud, I'm collecting the sticks and the stones and bathing up filling your grave. My family not taking the way, I'm gonna use all this pain, I'll make it someday. Every time I'm on a stage, they gonna hear your names. Damn, precious God, nothing left. Same with song, burned to death, mystical. Chelsea's dead, killers up with heroin. 2 a.m. out of breath, yours is dead, my mom is dead. Find a dead at Parkinson, loaded guns next to my bed. What do you know about me? I've been digging graves since I was 19. Talk shit, cause that's all you got, teeth. There ain't nothing left that you can do that can hurt me.
My therapist, my room was really supportive. Describe the relationship of your friends and family.
I've been taking so much Xanax, keeping myself from panicking. I'm staring at a casket and my mother look like wax. She don't even look real, man, she look like a mannequin. This shit hurt me so bad you can't even fucking imagine. If I'm sociopathic, it's cause all of the damage. You mishandled my heart and hammered at it till it cracked in half. Yeah, you told me you were pregnant, I'm so happy, cried my eyes out. Next day, found out you killed my unborn child. Now I don't know who I am, hero feeling good or bad. I'm losing tracks like the Batman and Joker, been doing battle in my head. I'm bending balls behind a mask like man, I'm Venom. Rather watch the world burn than never light another candle.
Identify the most common feelings that you've had since the death of your mom.
Angry all the time.
Wow. That's it's quite a piece of music, that is. I mean, it's very drum and bassy, really. You know, I can see where the industrial elements come into the music. Like you said, there's a lot of electronica in the actual music itself. So it's got more of a sort of heavy hip-hop style, really. And then when the chorus sort of drops in, it sort of gets more into the sort of can't think of the word I'm looking. You know, it gets into the sort of hardcore metal sort of sound. But the actual lyrics are pretty heavy. I mean, they were throughout the video, but we'll talk about them anyway. It opens with, "Don't say hi to me, you should probably hide from me. I'm so damn toxic that you'll probably fucking die on me. Grotesque anatomy, I'm missing half of me. It's more than I it's more than that, can't do the math, can't count on the hands that abandoned me." So he's saying, don't say hi to me, you know, you should just get as far away from me, because knowing my luck, you know, I'm so damn toxic that you'll probably die, you know. It seems like everybody that gets close to him ends up dying, you know, and I mean, I don't know whether he feels like it's his fault, you know. It's like everybody I come into contact with dies or leaves, you know. He seems to be blaming himself. Whether or not that's what he's actually doing, I don't know. But this is a common trait with people that, you know, they seem to have such a tragic life. They start to wonder, is it all my fault? You know, is it me? Is there something about me that makes people behave this way, or makes this sort of thing happen to all of the people around me that I love? You know, is this my fault? You know, it can't be a coincidence that all these people close to me, once they get to know me, they end up like leaving, going, or dying. Yeah. You know, he says he's missing half of himself. So it is that, you know, everything, all these bad things that have happened to him have broken him down so much. You know, he feels like hollow inside. You know, he can't do the math. You know, he can't figure it out. You know, there's so much fucked up stuff that's happened. You know, he literally can't figure it out in his head. You know, he can't figure out why this is happening. You know, what's happened? Why has it happened? You know, and, you know, he can't count on the hands that abandoned me. Now, is that people who have just turned around and left him, or is he, you know, these people that have died, is he sort of thinking, you know, is his thinking that toxic? You know, he's blaming himself, that he's thinking that they left because, you know, they left him because of something he did. I'm not sure. Anyway, carries on. "Everybody goes away, no one ever stays. I forgot another face, memories stuck on replay. Everyone I ever loved, all that I touch, everything turns to dust. All my angels in the ground, ain't got none left above." So again, you know, everybody goes away. Everybody that he loves, everybody that he gets close to, either dies or leaves. You know, no one ever stays. I forget another face. So it's like, you know, this person came into my life, they became my friend, they became a loved one, you know, and then they leave, and, you know, that person eventually inevitably will fade. Memory stuck on replay, so he's remembering everybody that he ever loved. And he says, "Everyone ever loved, all that I touch, everything turns to dust." So again, he's sort of blaming himself, like everything good that's happened in his life, as soon as it's come into contact with him, it seemed to fall apart. And, you know, I can relate to that feeling. Maybe not to the extent that he does, but, you know, I can kind of relate to it as well, because there have been times of incredible despair where, you know, I've mentioned before, you know, I pretty much lost everything. I lost everything in my life at one point. You know, I was homeless, I was alone, my family was hundreds of miles away. You know, at one point I lost all of my friends. You know, I felt completely alone, you know, and you do sort of sit there and wonder, you know, is it my fault? Is it something that I've done, which is why all these bad things are happening? It says, "All my angels in the ground, ain't got none left above." So again, all the people that he cares about, all of the angels, all the people that were lovely to him, sweet to him, kind to him, have all gone. You know, and he feels like there's no one else, you know, no angels above him sort of looking out for him, sort of thing. Then it goes into the chorus, and this is quite heavy hitting. It says, "Cam crashed his car, nothing left. Same with Sean, he burned to death. Mr. Cool, Chelsea's dead, killed herself with heroin. 2 a.m, out of breath. Nurses said my mum is dead. Vicodin and Percocet and loaded gun next to my bed." So this guy, Cam, crashed his car, nothing left. So obviously it was a really severe car crash, you know, pretty much. It says, "Same with Sean, he burned to death." So I'm guessing Sean also in a vehicle accident, car set on fire, and unfortunately He died from that. He missed a call saying Chelsea's dead, and she killed herself with heroin. So, like, maybe he was asleep or something, and someone tried to call him. Maybe Chelsea herself tried to call him, asking for help or something like that. I don't know. But it turns out that Chelsea's dead, and she overdosed on heroin. At 2 a.m., he's suffering all these gut punches. It says 2 a.m., out of breath. Nurses have called, said, like, your mother's dead. And he's saying they're Vicodin and Percocet and loaded guns next to my bed. Now, is that him considering taking his own life because of all these horrible things that are happening to him? He's really struggling to come to terms with it, and maybe he's thinking, I can't handle this anymore. I want to take an easy way out of this, possibly. I don't know. Carries on. You think that this is just music? I'm really going through it. All that shit you talk about, well, bitch, I really do it. I got the scars to prove it. These guns, I really shoot 'em. Keep on being stupid and you'll lose that shit you used to chew with. I actually like that line. But, he's saying it. You think that this is just music. This is my life. This is things that have really happened to me. He says, I'm really going through it. I've been through all of these horrendous things. These are all things that have really happened to me. This isn't just music. This is me telling you about my life. It's all that shit you talk about. Well, bitch, I really do it. And, I've got the scars to prove it. I've got the scars to prove that I've been through this shit. I can show you the physical and mental toll that these things have taken on me. Everybody entertain my pain, kicking that dirt on my name. Straight from the mud, I'm collecting the sticks and the stones for the day that I'm filling your graves. My family got taken away. I'm going to use all this pain. I'll make it someday. Every time I'm on that stage, they're going to hear your names. So, everybody entertained by my pain, kicking that dirt on my name straight from the mud. I'm collecting the sticks and stones. So, maybe, he's saying everybody entertained by my pain, maybe people are enjoying the music and, this sort of thing, but there's people kicking dirt on his name. Maybe they're blaming him for these people, dying, and again, that's another thing that does unfortunately happen, because everybody sort of goes, right, okay, this person was fine until they met you, all these things never happened, but as soon as they've met you, this sort of things happen. And this could also be why he started blaming himself, because so many people have put the blame on him that he started thinking, do you know what, maybe it is my fault, maybe it is something about me, maybe I am the person that is pushing him down this path. He's starting to doubt himself. He's thinking, these are people that meant a lot to me, and their friends and family are blaming me for what's happened to them. And he's saying, I'm collecting the sticks and stones for the day that I'm filling your grave. So it's like, you can call me names, you can throw your stones and throw your sticks at me, you can insult me all you want, but I'm gonna remember all this. I'm collecting these sticks and stones. I'm gonna remember all these horrible things you said, and I'm gonna bring the receipts when things happen. My family got taken away. I'm going to use all this pain to make it someday. Every time I'm on that stage, they're going to hear your names. Then it goes back into that chorus, although it is a slightly modified version of the chorus. Again, it goes, Cam crashed his car, nothing left. Same with Sean, he burned to death. Mr. Cool, Chelsea's dead, killed herself with heroin. 2 a.m, out of breath, the nurses say my mom is dead. Vicodin and Percocet and loaded guns next to my bed. What do you know about me? I've been digging graves since I was 19. Talk shit, because that's all you got, G. There ain't nothing left that you could do to hurt me. So again, he went through all that thing, about his mum and stuff like that. He says, what do you know about me? What do you really know about me? Have you actually taken the time to get to know me, to find out what my life has been like, to find out how difficult things have really been? It says, I've been digging graves since I was 19. So, people around him have been dying or leaving since he was 19. So, he's really struggled through a lot of his life. It says, talk shit, because that's all you got. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You don't know shit about me. You can make your assumptions, you can make your accusations, but you don't know what I've been through. There ain't nothing left that you could do to hurt me. I've been through the worst pain in my life. You know, I've been in the deepest, darkest pit anybody could ever comprehend. You know, and you think you throwing insults and shit at me is going to make a difference. You know, I've been through worse than that. There isn't anything you could do that is worse than what I've already endured. And again, that's something that I can relate to. You know, I've been to like the lowest point in my life I could ever possibly be, to the point where I did actually consider, you know, taking my own life. You know, I've been to the most miserable points any person could hope to enjoy, you know, and I've lost many friends. You know, I've mentioned my friend Stephen before, you know, my best friend who took his own life. You know, I've lost a lot of people that I cared about, not to this extent. And, you know, he's obviously had a lot of difficulties going on. So, you know, I can relate to how he's feeling. And he's got quite a lot of anger sort of pent up because of, you know, maybe the way that the friends and family of those people he's lost have sort of come at him and seem to have blamed him for it. You know, and he's already blaming himself, but them piling on is making it so much worse. And, you know, they're just barraging him with it, you know, because, you know, they want someone to blame. And they're all aiming at him because, you know, everybody around him seems to be dying or leaving. So, you know, perfect scapegoat, as it were. Carries on. I've been taking so much Xanax to keep myself from panicking. I'm staring at her casket and my mother looks like wax. She don't even look real, man. She looks like a mannequin. That shit hurt me so bad you can't even fucking imagine. If I'm sociopathic, it's 'cause of all the damage. You mishandled my heart and hammered at it till it cracked in half. Yeah, you told me you were pregnant. I'm so happy I cried my eyes out. The next day found out you killed my unborn child. Now I don't know who I am. Hero, villain, good or bad, I'm losing track. It's like the Batman and Joker been doing battle in my head. I'm bending bars behind a mask like Bane on Venom. Rather watch the world burn than ever light another candle. So he's been taking so much Xanax. It's an American drug. We don't have Xanax in the UK, and I'm guessing it's you know, it's not an antipsychotic. It's, you know, for you know, for stress, and I can't think of the bloody word. What is it called? I know what I mean. You know, he's trying to keep himself from panicking, you know, from having panic attacks, so he's loading himself up with this drug. And he's staring at the casket, and of course, when someone dies, they never quite look how they looked in life, and, you know, that's because of the pallor of their skin and all that. You know, there's something about when you see a dead body, there's a complete... Well, it's not a complete disconnect, but there is a level of disconnect because they're so lifeless, and you're so used to seeing them alive, you know. So, you know, he looks like wax. She doesn't even look real. She looks like a mannequin. So he's staring at her, and there's this sort of disbelief in his mind, you know, that's not her. You know, it doesn't look like her. She's just not behaving like her. She's just laying there still, lifeless. You know, her skin's like lifeless. He goes, that shit hurt me so bad you can't even fucking imagine. You know, there is nothing worse than losing a you know, a member of your family, you know, someone you're directly related to, you know, a parent or a child. You know, seeing them lifeless, it's something so deep and profound in, you know, in the feelings of pain and despair. You know, obviously, you know, there's obviously so much love between him and his mother, and, you know, she's now just gone, you know, and now he's got nothing. You know, there's a line somewhere says, you took my family from me, you know, my family's gone, so he's got nothing, he's got no one. It says, if I'm sociopathic, it's because of all the damage. You know, if I act like a sociopath, it's because so much bad shit has happened to me. I don't know how to cope in general life anymore. You know, I'm just scared of everything going wrong, so I'm going to try and distance myself from people. You know, I'm going to try and push people away. You know, and I'm you know, what might seem like normal behaviour to me might seem like me acting out to you. And this is because I don't know how to interact with people anymore. You know, because I've been through so much fucked up shit. You mishandled my heart and hammered at it until it cracked in half. In half. I'm not American. You told me you were pregnant. I'm so happy, cried my eyes out. Next day I found out you killed my unborn child. So this is talking directly to a former partner. You mishandled my heart and hammered at it until it cracked in half. So you played in my heart, you fucked me about. I was madly in love with you and you just played me. You were just messing around. You told me you were pregnant, and I was so happy about that. I was so happy. I was with someone I loved and I'd created this other life. It's a phenomenal, amazing thing. And without a single word to me, you just went off and had it aborted. And this is actually something that's happened to me as well, a very long time ago, about 25 years ago now, I think it was. But that is an epic gut punch when you find that out. They're like, yes, I'm pregnant. And he said there he was so happy, he cried his eyes out. So she's obviously seen how excited that made him, how happy it made him. And then behind his back, without discussing with him, she's gone and terminated it. If she'd sat down with him and talked about it, maybe if she had fears or reservations about it happening, which clearly she did, if she had issues with it, if she'd talked to him about it, maybe they could have discussed it, and maybe they could have come to this sort of okay, that's fine, if that's how you really feel, if you're not ready, yada yada yada, you can go ahead and do it, if that's what you really really want. But the fact that she's turned around, done it behind his back without discussing it with him, he feels betrayed, and so much pain and anger because he was obviously so excited about it, and she's just gone, I don't care about what your feelings are. Obviously at the end of the day it is her body, and no one can tell her what she can and cannot do, but at least have a discussion with the person, rather than just going off and saying I'm pregnant and then coming back the next day saying I'm not anymore. That's like 13 swift kicks to the bollocks and then a punch to the nose. It's really cruel. And like I said, it's something I myself have been through before as well. He says, now I don't know who I am, hero, villain, good or bad, I'm losing track. So, his head is so fucked up from all the shit he's been through. He's starting to question his sanity. He's starting to question his mental state. He's starting to wonder, am I the bad guy? Is this all because of me? What have I done to deserve this? I thought I was a decent guy. I thought I was, doing the right things, this, that, and the other, but I'm, everybody's blaming me for everything. All these bad things are happening to me. So what is it about me? Is it my fault? Who am I? Am I this horrible, cruel person that deserves all this? Or, am I a nice guy that's just getting all this bullshit, He says, it's like the Batman and Joker been doing battle in my head. I'm bending bars behind the mask like Bane on Venom. I'd rather watch the world burn than ever light another candle. I want to see the world end before I have to say goodbye to another person that I love and care about. I don't want to have to keep burying friends and family. I'd rather destroy the entire world and myself along with it than have to bury another friend. And then it ends with, yeah, I got a couple of bodies on me. Yeah, I got a couple of ghosts that haunt me. I got a couple of bodies on me. I got a couple of ghosts that haunt me. So again, he feels like he blames himself. So this is quite a deeply felt piece of music. And like I said, talking about these sort of things that are so deeply personal, I really commend people for it. Because, it's difficult to sort of put all this sort of thing out there. Because, this is an incredibly painful thing to go through, to lose friends, to lose family. And, to feel that everything around you is falling apart, to feel like everything bad in the world that is happening is your fault. And it doesn't help when friends and family are laying it on you as well. They're blaming you for, they're saying maybe you're toxic and you're the person who made them turn to drugs, or, maybe, somebody was at your house one night and they decided to drive home. Maybe they'd had a couple too many drinks and they're like, it's your fault that they drove home drunk. You shouldn't have let them go, and everybody's laying blame on you because they want to find someone to blame. And you know, it's really fucked up the way these things happen, because when a tragedy happens, like when a loved one dies, the immediate relations to those people will always try and find an explanation. You know, they'll always try and find some reason why. Like for example, with my friend Stephen, we used to do LARP, live action roleplay, a long time ago. And when he passed, me and a bunch of friends went round to see his parents, you know, to pass on our condolences and, you know, have a chat about him and this, that, and the other. And his parents turned around and you know, they blamed the live action roleplay that we did, you know, because it was a fantasy world with demons and dragons and devils and things like that. You know, they were almost basically saying that playing these live action roleplay games was akin to a satanic ritual sort of thing. You know, they were trying to lay the blame on that, trying to find some explanation to explain why he did that. But I mean, in reality, we all knew the reason behind what he did. But there's always that question of why, you know, that you always try and find reasons. And these people, they sort of throw these accusations at you, but in that moment, they're only thinking about how much it hurts them. You know, they're not thinking, you know, hold on, this person was my son or daughter's best friend. You know, how must they be feeling? In those moments, people become selfish in a way. You know, I mean, you can understand why they're feeling like that, but, you know, they don't take a moment to think, you know, how other people might be hurting similarly to them. And, you know, all this guy, he's like getting all of this hate and anger put on him, and he's struggling to take it, you know, and it's fucking with his head. You know, it's a very relatable piece of music, and, you know, some quite powerful lyrics in there. And, you know, in the actual structure of the music itself, you can feel the anger in the music, because it's a very, it's heavy, but it's also, but heavy in emotional weight as well as musical style. And it sounded really good. I quite like it. Like I said, I've had 3 other tracks by this band suggested to me by Ian, and apparently they're a trilogy of songs that make up a bigger story, so I'm going to look at those at some point in time. But, you know, this was a good piece of music. I liked it. I'm quite curious to check out some more of their stuff, so I will be doing that at some point in the future. So, yeah, this is quite a deep and emotional piece of music. And, you know, like I say, I've got to hand it to the guy for, like, bearing it all, you know, saying how he's really feeling, you know, just getting all of his anger and his stress out into this piece of music. And the thing is, you know, every time he goes and performs this piece of music, it sort of reconjures the memories of all of these people that he's lost. So, you know, that's another difficult thing that you've got to understand. You know, when he puts out this piece of music, he's reliving the memories of those friends every time it's performed, every time he listens to it. So, you know, it's still going to have quite a heavy emotional impact on him. So, you know, you've got to give them credit when they do something like that, because they're putting themselves out there and they're sort of making themselves vulnerable at the same time. So, yeah, a good piece of music. I liked that, you know, and mixed up vocal styles. I liked that as well. So, yeah, there we go. I can't really think of what else I can say about that, so I'll leave that as it is. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribe if you're not subscribed already, because it would really help me out. Because at the moment my videos are just sort of getting lost in the ether. You know, I'm putting out videos and barely anyone's watching them, and then they're not getting suggested to anybody. You know, but people have been messaging me saying, you know, oh, I found this video about XYZ track that I wanted you to look at, and, you know, they're finding it like 3-4 months after I put the video out, because they're just sort of disappearing in the algorithm. So, you know, if you could like and subscribe, you know, it doesn't cost you anything, it takes a fraction of a second, and it would really help out the channel. But, yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm crashing gone. Nothing left, same with some. Burned to death, mystical. Chelsea's dead.